I want to start with you, Americus, because you've done so much award-winning work on this idea of identity-based consumer behavior.
Yep.
Tell us what that is and how also you see technology broadly and social interactions and all these new platforms influencing that behavior and purchase decisions.
Yeah, I love that question. Thanks, Julia. I think that for me, I think about when I study identity, I'm interested in understanding how do people form a sense of self-expression through objects, through products, brands, services, organizations, and even things like technology. So I'm really interested in your digital self as it exists out there, and then how that affects the types of things you choose to do or not choose to do and things of that nature. And I can, as an academic, I remember the moment where we were panicked when, as colleagues, my fellow professors ran into my office and said, they're using ChatGPT to do our assignments. And it was a moment where like, or what are we going to do? Are we going to try to like, in a draconian way, shut this down? Or is this coming? And what's going to change? And how is my educational landscape going to change? How are consumer behavior is going to change? All of these different kinds of things. So I really believe that in the context of how we navigate our own sense of humanity in deploying these sorts of tools is going to be a very interesting kind of philosophical question, and also a question of how our lives change as a function of these new technologies. So I'm excited.
Americus, you're nodding here, and I'm remembering something you said earlier about how people sort of get used to giving away their privacy, or they get used to the creepy ads that follow you around the internet.
Yeah, it's a normalization process.
My phone listening to me?
Yeah, we don't want that. I think it is interesting.
And yes, it is listening. Yeah,
it is.
That's why I was bringing it.
That's why somebody's.
Yeah.
This is true. I think that, from a trust perspective, I agree with everything that's being said here. There's a lot more trust, especially for younger consumers. But if you breach that trust, there's also the flip side of that. There's a much more averse reaction to not wanting to come back to that particular brand and things like that. So it really is something you have to be very, very careful with, even though we recognize that there is a lot of trust with younger consumers. The other thing is, I think is important, is that it's really important, I think, to establish a track record around, if you're a brand, like I love the Dove example, because one of the things that they did, which was so good, was they established like an idea, like we want to be a thought leader on something, attacking an issue that's very important, and what are the ways that we can do that? What are the ways that we can raise awareness for everybody in a way that benefit? And when you have that, it's sort of like trust is like a bank account. If you're putting deposits in every single day as a brand, a product or service or whatever, then you have something to play with should something go wrong. And so when brand crisis hits, if you've been doing that sort of good stuff and using these tools in responsible sorts of ways, then you can recover much easier because you have built up that goodwill over time. So it's very important to make sure that there are components in place, that these tools are deployed in very responsible ways, and that you're creating a track record about being important about doing that in the right way.
If you're looking to inspire and captivate your audience, look no further than Professor Americus Reed. With his engaging presentations and powerful storytelling, Americus is the perfect choice for your next event. Don't miss out on the opportunity to bring his expertise to your stage. Request his availability today and elevate your event with Professor Americus Reed.